Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be bringing down out at about 5 after 7 and get things rolling. Just a reminder, as always, every Thursday live stream is a free show. Do not feel obligated to tip, but if you would like to help support Don and all he's doing and also his partner, the Indy Folk Series tonight, there are links in the chat and on the screen for you. Thank you for your patience. We'll get started soon. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us at another Thursday live stream. We're going to be bringing Don out at about 5 after 7 and get everything started. Just a reminder, as always, every Thursday live stream is a free show. Do not feel obligated to tip, but for those that want to help support Don and the Indy Folk Series, there are links in the chat to help you do so. We'll bring Don out in just a couple moments. Thanks for your patience.
Ta-da! Good evening, everyone. Wave your hands like this so I know that you can hear me. Very good. All right. Welcome to another Thursday night. Dawn White on Thursday night at 7:05. Here we all are again. And tonight we are in conjunction with a fantastic organization called the Indy Folk Series out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And so I'm just going to let you know how the show is going to run tonight. Some of you may be new to this, so you know, show is being live streamed from Zoom. So there's a bunch of us in the Zoom meeting, and then it's being streamed out to YouTube. So if you're in on the YouTube side, we're glad that you're here. But if you look in the chat down on the bottom, there's a link. It's an access code and a password that will get you over to the Zoom part if you want to be in the Zoom part, which is a little bit more interactive. We're happy to have you any way you want, but we want you to know that that's an option. So the reason why I have done my concerts on Zoom is that I like the interactive nature of it. So I'm going to teach you how we do this. So we like to get as many people unmuted as possible so I can hear laughter and applause, so I don't feel like I'm just performing to the wall here in my office. So if you are in a quiet place, which means no phones are going to ring, no dogs are going to bark, fire engines are going to go by. If you're in a relatively quiet place and you'd like to be unmuted, I'd like you to raise your hand. So in Zoom, the way we do that is here's a little explanation by Brandon. So you go down to the participants window down the bottom. It's the head and the shoulders down there. And when you click on that, a screen will come up and it'll show you a blue hand. And if you click on that blue hand, that means you're raising your hand and you're telling us that you would like to be unmuted and that you're in a quiet place, and that brings you all to the top so that we can monitor it. So don't take it personal. If we mute you, we'll try to get you back on again, but maybe there's some noise coming from your place that you can't hear. So Brandon, our fantastic technician, he monitors that. And so now we have a bunch of people unmuted. So let's test it to see how it works. Okay. So let's get as many of these unmuted. There we go. Look at all that. So remember now, any sound that you make, which includes like opening a bag of chips or a squeaky chair, is loud. So be aware of that. You don't want to disrupt the show. Just think of us as like in a church basement, and you want to be quiet. And you can mute yourself if you're going to do something, decide to do the dishes or something during the concert, right? So, but anyway, so let's just test it for the interactive nature. So I'm going to count to 3, and when I get to 3, everyone, you pretend that I just said the funniest thing you ever heard and laugh your heads off, okay? 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the miracle of the only interactive internet concert on planet Earth at this moment right now. It's called the Dawn White method. I invented it. It's like the rhythm method. It only works half the time, but it's fun to practice. Now, here we go. This is the way the show is going to lay out. I am going to introduce Phil Slates to you. He is going to talk about indie folk and all the cool things that they've done and what they're doing to try to survive now. And then he's going to introduce our opener, who is going to sing a song for us. Then I'm going to do my thing till about 8:20 or so, thereabouts. 8:30 at the most if I'm really having a ball. Then we're going to have an after party, and our after parties are the stuff of legends. That's right, the stuff of legends. So our opener, Katie Dahl, will come with us, and we'll have a song swap. There'll be secret squirrel surprise guests, and if I see someone in the audience that I want to hear from, maybe I'll drag them in, and we'll have like a little song circle, story circle at the end there. And so you're welcome to hang around for that. But if you have a long ride home, you're welcome to leave too after the show, or at any time you want. It's just like changing the channel. All it takes is clicking this thing, and I'm out of your life. That's all it takes. Now, I see my friend Sarah is here. Sarah, I just want to shout out to you because I love you. Sarah. No sound? All right,
I love you, baby.
there you are. All the way from California. There's a little delay. Now, Let me introduce to you Phil Slates, and let's give him a nice round of applause, all you unmuted people. Hey!
Well, thank you, Don. We are really, really excited at the Indy Folk Series to be partnering with you on this particular Thursday evening. And I'm glad that you pointed out that we're in Indianapolis, because a lot of people think Indy means like independent, but no, it means Indianapolis. So we began way back there in 2001. A couple of intrepid people put this program together as an outreach program from the Unitarian Universalist Church, and which we are lucky enough still to have that as our venue. Although we have grown bigger, we now have a board of directors and dozens of volunteers helping us out. We've got a season, or we used to have a season, from September until May, and one show per month. And we've had all kinds of people there. We have stretched the limitations of what folk music means, but certainly blues and dancing and vocalization and all sorts of crazy stuff. People you've heard of, like John Gorka, and people you may never heard of. Talking about that, what we like to offer, and I've always offered, is what we like to call vibe, venue, and variety. So we've got a nice vibe going on, very casual, very friendly. The venue is a wonderful 200-seat, no bad seat in the house place with great acoustics. And the variety, as I mentioned, is all sorts. You can check at our website. You can see our past performances and see the kind of people that we've brought along. This current season is kind of in flux, or the upcoming season, I should say. But we're trying to keep all of this alive, and that's why we're doing things like partnering with our good friend Don White, who we met at Farm, and others. And so I'm lucky enough to say that the young lady who's going to be coming up here in just a hot minute, Katie Dahl, is going to be one way or another in our February 2021 show. We don't know if that looks like on the ground or in the air, but so pay attention to that. Katie is a wonderful and rare find. She's all the way from Door County, Wisconsin, where in her spare time between a husband and a child, she fights against chain food restaurants and keeping Door County beautiful. So if I can, hopefully she's there, she's ready to go. But a lady and a friend who writes wickedly smart songs. Let's introduce Katie Dahl.
Woo! Hey team, hello. Like Phil said, I'm here from Northeast Wisconsin, and it's the same here as it is everywhere. We've all been reduced to our rooms, but I'm very excited to see you all. And I, for one, I don't know about you, but I've been a worrier for my whole adult life, and I find now that I feel like I have a lot of friends, like maybe those of you who weren't particularly worried people before, now you are. So now I have like my peers and my allies in the land of worrying. So this is a song that I wrote about worrying. I took a walk in the redwood trees out of California. I thought the trees might speak to me that warm and windless summer day, saying we've been here 500 years by the wild Pacific Sea. But I took one look at those big old trees and I worried they would fall on me. Worry, my friend, worry, my love, worry, my shepherd and shield. I borrowed more trouble than I'll ever repay. Frost on the summer fields. I lay down with a beautiful man. His worried it was gonna end. Worry, my friend, worry, my love, worry, my shepherd and shield. I borrowed more trouble than I'll ever repay. Frost in the summer fields. I woke up on a clear blue day, feeling light and wise. The night had brought me peace at last and brightened all of my skies. I could see my worry gone from me, gone on the westbound track. My worry had finally set me free till I worried it was gonna come back. Worry, my friend, worry, my love, worry, my shepherd and shield. I borrowed more trouble than I'll ever repay. Frost in the summer fields. I borrowed more trouble than I'll ever repay. Frost in the summer fields.
Woo! Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Well, thanks for listening. I'm very excited to settle in and watch tonight's featured performer, who, of course, you've already met him, is Don White, comedian, songwriter, storyteller, author, all of the above. Please give it up for Don White.
Woo! Done.
Hey.
Hey everyone. Hey, thank you, Katie. That was wonderful. She's gonna come back and hang out with us in the after party, so we get to hear some more from her later on. I'm gonna start with this here thing here. I overheard a man complaining how his 401k was not performing quite how he would like it to, as he sipped his double latte and continued to complain. I thought about that day in 1982. We were living in the shack with the outhouse in the back. If I'm not mistaken, you were pregnant too. We thought it might be funny to count up all of our money and discuss all the investing we could do. We pulled our pockets inside out, pulled the cushions off the couch, stuck our fingers way down deep inside. We emptied out the pockets of the jackets in our closet, but not one single penny did we find. So after the realization our financial situation was not conducive to investment at this time, we decided to invest in what we've always done best. We danced around the kitchen for a while, we do the victory dance. When life is such a mess, we don't know what else to do. We do the victory dance when being penniless became literal to me and you. Well, you can jump off of a building, take a bunch of pills, or you can walk around in a trance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, go on, do the victory dance. I got fired from a job I'd been working at for 20 years faithfully. Oh dear, oh God, oh my, how will I ever survive without a corporation taking care of me? I was so stressed out for weeks I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and didn't think that things would ever turn my way. And then a couple months went by, I began to realize, man, I really hated working at that place. So I started working for myself, improved my mental health. Now I'm happier than I've ever been before. Oh dear, oh my, oh God, I should have quit that stupid job 19 years ago. I do the victory dance when my life forces me to go out on my own. And then I just declare victory, and I march my army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know. Some things are always left to chance. If you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas, go on, do the victory dance. When your life forces you to go out on your own, just declare victory, and then march your army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know. Things are always left to chance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, You're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas. If the world has gone to hell and you cannot find Purell, if you're stuck in a tiny house with your children and your spouse, if they canceled all your shows and you've got nowhere to go, now you're sitting in your room playing concerts on Zoom. What? And you wonder what it means to play songs to a computer screen. And across the top are little squares. And all your friends are trapped inside of there. And you say to your friends trapped in the little squares, give me a sign, let me know that you're all okay in there. Somebody just held up a help me, I'm trapped sign. You know, trapped in a square on a computer screen is just a metaphor for quarantine. If you lose your money, but you still got your honey. If you lose your honey, but you still got some money. You find it hard to cope because your kids are all on dope. Don't surrender yet, try not to forget. In this game of life we're in this game of life we're in this game of life that we are in. If you don't die, you win.
Oh my God, thank you.
And the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild. Gets any wilder, I'll have to put chicken wire up between you and me. Right? Our kids are grown. They're both in their 20s. They live at home. They're never gonna leave. Why should they go? They've got it good here, you know. Their food, their phone, their rent is free. They would have to be out of their minds to leave. But I was thinking, what if things were different? You know, living here at home with you and me. What if we decided we could act like they both did when they were in their teens? So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key. Let's steal our daughter's car. We'll both get really drunk. We'll put a big dent in her trunk. And we'll drive real fast down the thoroughfare. If we get a speeding ticket, hey, we won't care. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. And they'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Come on out, be 16 with me. Picture our kids calling all of our friends up and asking them if they know where we are. Of course, all our friends will lie and say they ain't seen us all night. But we'll be standing right beside them while they're on the phone, smoking, drinking, and carrying on when we come strolling home on Sunday morning. Around 10 o'clock while the neighbors walk to church. Our kids will ask us where we've been, and then they'll ask us again, and we will just make up a great big lie and swear that it's the truth until the day we die. They'll be the ones who are trying to find the truth out, and we'll be the ones who are lying through our teeth. And under pressure, we'll confess that we had unprotected sex. That will gross them out so much they might just start to think about moving out. Let that sink in for a minute, all right? If turnabout is fair play in this life, then what better way to encourage them to leave than to give them both a dose of what it was like to live with them when they were in their teens. So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key. Let's steal our daughter's car. We will both get really drunk and we'll put a big dent in her trunk. And no one will know where we are till we come home in a police car. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. And they'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wiggle, mom, climb out of this window. Oh man, be careful. You're not as young as you used to be. That's 40 feet down there. I should have brought a ladder, probably. You know what? The kids are both drunk and passed out. Let's just go out the front door. Come on out and be 16 with me.
Woo! Very good. Woo!
All right, so some of you know that my world is kind of split between folk music, and since 2015, I've been pretty involved in the storytelling world. I don't know, my shows used to be like songs with little stories in between them, and then over time, for some reason, nobody's bothered to explain to me, just a natural sort of thing. My shows became stories with little songs in between them, right? So I'm going to tell you a story about my dad, Larry White. That's right, Larry White was a cigarette smoking, whiskey drinking, talk out the side of your mouth, gin rummy playing, World War II, 40 years as a rigger and a crane man at the General Electric, manly man. That's right. If I ever brought him to a folk concert, his molecules wouldn't hold together. Okay. Never did one thing he was supposed to do in this life to live a long time. He just kept living. He hadn't eaten a vegetable since the 50s. He hadn't cracked a sweat since World War II. He just ate red bloody meat and smoked cigarettes with no filter on them and just kept living. I live here in Boston, near Boston, so we're near the ocean here. So everybody eats food that's pulled out of the ocean, fried fish, fried clams, And my dad said to me one day, it's one of my last good conversations with him. He said to me, Donnie, that's the way he talked. His voice had been graveled by cigarettes. We know after he died, we couldn't find a photograph of him under the age of 12 that didn't have a cigarette in his hand. I'm not making that part up. That's true, right? So by the time he was in his 80s, he would talk like this. Donnie, I found a new fried clam place, he says to me. I'm like, Dad, what does your doctor say about eating fried clams? He said, my doctor? I'm like, yeah. The one that told me to stop eating fried clams? I'm like, yeah. He died 20 years ago! You want to live to be 82? Come on, let's go get some fried food. Right? And so my dad was a bartender, and he was a rigger and a crane man. That was his primary thing, but he was a hustler. He was a gin rummy player, a card player, and a bartender. So he was a reader of people. That's the way he navigated the world. He would observe people and just gather information. So if he was at a table with 10 people and he knew somebody was exaggerating or lying, right? He would study them like a card player. He'd look for a tell. He'd say, and he'd say, when this person lies, their eyebrow moves a little bit, they twitch a little, maybe their voice changes a little bit, and he would say to me, and I would gather that tell, that information, and I would put it in my ass pocket. Ass pocket, for those of you that don't know, is a 1940s term for database. He said, I would take this information, I put it in my ass pocket. 10 years later, I'll be doing business with this same person, and I'd see them twitch or their voice change. I'd be like, they're lying, right? And that's the way he navigated this world. Quiet, watching, observing, gathering information, thinking, saving it in case he needed it, and he just got whatever he wanted, and nobody knew how he got it. He just did it in a method that they couldn't understand. So, two things you need to know about my family. One is if we're picking on you, that means we like you. It's kind of a Boston thing, right? Oh, there we go. And if we're picking on you, that means we like you. And the second thing is if we're quiet, like if you're at my house with my family and everybody's quiet, you really should leave. Those are the two things that are vital to this story. Now, I told you all that to tell you this. Well, one day I'm in my 40s and I go over to visit my dad, right? And we're sitting around and I was teasing him. You know, I thought I was within the realm of what we do. You know, I was picking on him. I think I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do with, you know, how he raised us, like his parenting style, something like that, right? So, and I thought it was just like natural Boston Irish sort of ribbing, right? Like, you know, like this, right? But it wasn't. It pissed him off. It pissed him off, and it scared me to death because I had crossed this line. Here, those of you, you can see my face pretty good here. I'll show you the look he gave me. So I said this thing, thought it was funny. It wasn't funny. It made him mad, and he looked at me like this, like. I'm telling you, it's put a chill through me because my dad was a steel worker. He was wide chested, and he was a Depression era World War II guy, and he was tougher than me on multiple levels. So many levels, he was tougher than me. It was, you couldn't even count them all, right? And I knew I was trapped, that he was going to educate me, and there was going to be nothing I could do about it. I was like a pantomime stuck. I couldn't get it out. And he said to me, "Did you have a bicycle when you were a kid?" I go, "You know I had a bicycle. You bought it for me." He goes, "Did you ride around town on your bicycle with your friends?" I go, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I did." He said, "I'm happy for you. I always wanted a bicycle, but I couldn't have one. My father left us when I was 13 years old, and I had to go to work at Sabanti's Bakery at 3 in the morning before school, and then again after school." He goes, "And I would see other kids riding their bikes and running, you know, having fun and laughing." He goes, "But I never got to do that, but I had to go to work. But you got to have a bicycle and ride around with your friends. I'm happy for you." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, have you ever been cold?" I go, "Dad, I see what you're doing." He goes, "Have you ever been cold?" I go, "No." He goes, "I was cold. My mother used to put the Jello next to my bed at night because it was colder in my bedroom than it was in the ice box." He said, "Now that I think about it, there's always been oil in the furnace and the radiator's always been warm, and you've never been cold 1 minute in your life." And he goes, and you had a bicycle to ride around on with your friends. I am so happy for you." Right? So I started out 5'8" in this story, but now he's like whittled me down, and I'm about the size of a Ken doll now. I used to be sitting at the table, but now I'm shrunk down, so I'm standing on the chair and just tall enough to look over the top of the tabletop like this. And he was standing in the doorway of the living room talking to me, but now he came into the kitchen. And the sun had gone down and it got dark. It was dusk, right? So the kitchen was dark. And he walked past me over here to the refrigerator. And he opened the refrigerator up in this dark room. And the refrigerator light silhouetted him. Like it was like he looked like a religious icon, like a brickyard religious icon, right? Like you could almost hear the refrigerator going, "Oh," like that, right? Looking at the religious silhouette of my brickyard father, and he's talking to the milk and the eggs in the refrigerator. He's saying, "Have you ever been hungry?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I've never been hungry." He goes, "I was hungry." He goes, "My mother, we ate mayonnaise sandwiches for days." He goes, "My mother used the same tea bag for 10 cups of tea." He goes, "But you, never hungry, never cold, had a bicycle to ride around on with your friends. I am so happy for you." So he comes away from the refrigerator now, and he's gonna finish me off. And he was saying these words to me, and I could see them. They were like sentences, and they were coming and bouncing off my head and falling on the floor. And I noticed that they were wet, like they were dripping, like I could see them as kind of wet. And then I thought, these paragraphs, these sentences he's saying to me, he's been marinating them in sarcasm for decades. Like dripping with sarcasm, right? And so he comes over, and as he was walking over to me to finish me off, you know, this was like a master class in how to get somebody to stop talking to you the way they did, right? To think about never saying what they said to you again. It was like a master class in that. And so as he's walking over to me, I was thinking about how smart he was. Like he could have yelled at me, right? But I could have defended that. Like when someone's yelling at you, you can defend yourself against it. You know, you're not defending against the point they're making. You're defending yourself against being yelled at. That's why yelling at somebody is a really ineffective way to get them to change their behavior, because they're not thinking about the point you're making. They're just thinking, stop yelling at me, right? But he didn't do any of that. He just surgically took all this data. Like, he had been gathering data on me since I was born, so he had 40 years of data in his ass pocket database of all my weaknesses in my right, and he was just using them one at a time, asking me questions. Did you ever do this? Oh no, I'm happy for you. Did you ever do that? Oh, that's nice, I'm happy for you, right? Just whittle down, right? And so now I'm the like molecular size, I'm the size of a molecule, and he comes over and he's gonna finish me off. He's got a package of ham and cheese in his hands, and he leans over to me, like right up to my head, just for like the intimidation factor. He's like this far from my head, right? And he goes, "Look, you can say whatever you want about how I raised you." He goes, I'm not afraid of you. I'm a full-grown man. I've lived a whole life. I went to war. He goes, there's nothing you can do to intimidate me or scare me, and there's nothing you can say to me that's going to make me stop loving you. I'm past all of that now. He goes, but you need to understand something, and I can't believe that you're 40 years old, and I have to explain this to you, but I'm going to. He goes, this life that you had, never hungry, never cold, had a bicycle to ride around on with your friends, didn't have to go to work at 12 years old, and never stopped work until you retired, right? This life that you had, where you had joy and toys that you wanted, and a nice child, nice, warm, well-fed, laughter-filled childhood. He goes, not only did I not have it, but I'm telling you the truth now, I didn't know it was possible. He goes, it would have been beyond my ability to dream of this life that you are criticizing me for giving you. So now I'm like, you need a microscope to find me, right? And he comes over and he takes the ham and the cheese. What do they say? You have to stick the landing. That's what he was going to do now. This master class was ending now. It was, brilliantly executed, and now he's going to stick the landing for the perfect ending to this master class on getting me to to never talk to him that way again. And he takes the ham and the cheese and he drops it on the table right in front of me. Not slammed it. That would have been too dramatic. It was just loud enough to make an impact. He went, bam, you look hungry. Make a sandwich. And he walked in the living room. And sat in his recliner, the father's recliner like this. He took the remote control out and he flicked on Matlock. He had this big stupid look on his face, this big grin, thinking to himself, that's how you do that. All right, that's my story. I hope you liked it. All right.
Mic drop.
All right, I played this song last week, and I hadn't played it in 25 years. I'm going to play it again. This is a song I wrote when I was 18 years old. I had a job in a nursing home as a janitor, and I was so concerned. It was in Maine, and this was a song. I woke up one morning and I had 2 gray hairs in my mustache, and I thought, if they were talking to me, what could they say? Which is hilarious now. I couldn't find 2 black hairs in my mustache now, probably, but and I just thought, it was just a song about me. Like, I was so terrified that I was never going to be able to play music or anything like that. So I wrote this song. I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll move on from there. But I had fun digging this one up here. So for those of you that go back a ways with me, here you go, two gray hairs. So picture an 18-year-old Don White, if you could. First thing you'd have to do is knock 70 pounds off of him. Okay. I don't know what it was about this morning that had me wondering where my dreams had gone. I think I'd feel better if I could write them a letter and ask them where they've been so long. I'm afraid to think I have just accepted my position in society, to be hoping that when the big ship comes in, a little bit'll trickle down to me, little bit'll trickle down to me. And 2 gray hairs in my mustache keep singing this song to me. We sure hate to be the ones to be bringing you this rude awakening. But if you don't get down to doing all of the things that are on your mind, the next thing that you know, you'll be 80 years old, you'll be wishing that you had more time. When my coworkers at the diner ask me about my music career, I say it's going all right. I worked last night and made $10 free and clear. I even got half price off on beer. Then I say all I need now is enough money to make an album of the songs I write. And I keep sweeping floors and I keep getting poorer. And when I am alone at night, I can hardly express the fright that I feel when I think I might be pushing this broom for the rest of my life. 2 gray hairs in my mustache keep singing this song to me. We sure hate to be the ones to be bringing you this rude awakening. But if you don't get down to doing all of the things that are on your mind, the next thing that you know, you'll be 80 years old, you'll be wishing that you had more time. I had a nightmare last evening. It blew me right out of my bed. An orderly man came in to empty my pan. I looked up at him and I said, all I need now is enough money to make an album of the songs I write. I'd send it around to the boys downtown to be a superstar overnight. He said, sure, Mr. White. Does your catheter feel too tight? Doesn't your cream of wheat taste right? I see you've hardly touched a single bite. 2 gray hairs in my mustache keep on singing this song to me. We sure hate to be the ones to be bringing you this rude awakening. But if you don't get down to doing all of the things that are on your mind, the next thing that you know, you'll be living at the home, you'll be wishing that you had more time. You'll be saying, oh, I need a little more time. I got this album on my mind. I'd like to do it on down the line. Tell the Grim Reaper I'll feel fine. Give me a little more time. There you go.
Woo! Very good.
You know, digging up them songs from back there is terrifying for me because I've actually had a catheter in my life now. You probably think, oh, well, not so funny now, but it was hilarious even when it was happening to me. So I've maintained my sense of humor. All right, now I'm going to do something, play a song. I'm going to tell you a story now about us. Most of the stories that I tell are not about music, not about my life as a musician. I'm not real fond of those. There are a lot of them the same. You know, I was traveling through here. I was on this airplane. I was doing that. But this one is an interesting one. So I don't think anybody here has heard this if you come to all the shows or not. But I wanted to play this. So I got a gig one time. A person, my agent called me and said, there's a woman in recovery. She's a woman in the sober community, and she's getting married, and she wants you to play at her wedding reception. I said, okay. It was in South Boston. And so a couple days before the date, I got a call from my agent again saying, it's not going to be a wedding anymore. I go, well, am I still doing it? And she goes, yeah. I go, why? She goes, well, this woman is really interesting. She's going to... The husband disappeared somehow. I don't know what happened to him, but he was gone, right? And so was going to have the party anyway and celebrate the life of her sponsor who saved her life. So it turned into a celebration of this other person, not a wedding. So I thought this was going to be interesting. So I went to this place in South Boston, just a little American Legion hall, and I was just fascinated to meet this person. And I was looking for a facade. When I was going to talk to her, I was thinking, she's faking this. Like she's not. She's just doing this because she doesn't want to tell everyone not to come. But when I met her, I was hypnotized by her. I just kept looking. I'm like, am I losing a step here? I'm like, I should be able to tell that this is a facade, that she's faking this. But she was as in the moment as anybody I ever saw. And the first thing I noticed was she had these shoes on. They were red ruby shoes with diamonds all through them, right? And it looked like if she clicked her heels, she would go to off, right? And so I put my shoe next to her shoe like that. So I had this old rotten $10 like black shoe on, and she took her camera out and snapped a shot of it, right? And so we started talking, and I just like was totally, completely hypnotized and charmed by her. There was something. She was sincere. She was enjoying the fact that her friends were together as much as if it was her wedding. It didn't even matter to her. And I pierced her with my eyes to try to figure out if she was just a good actress or not, and I couldn't. It looked real to me. So I was supposed to play after the DJ played some music, right? So the DJ started playing. She got up to leave. This was a 10-minute conversation. She got up to leave, and as she was leaving, she said to me, "And I have stage 4 breast cancer." And then she walked to the dance floor. So I just sat back like this, and I just watched. And I had been in this situation before, when you're around somebody for whom tomorrow is a question mark, a legitimate question mark. There's something about them. They're like holy people. You know, you never when they smile at you, you never saw a smile like that. It kind of cracks the glass on your eyes. When they hug you, you never had a hug like that before ever. And when they dance, oh man, nobody dances like somebody for whom tomorrow might not happen. And to me, you know, in a movie sometimes how you see a dance floor and all of a sudden everybody fades out and there's just one light on one person twirling. That's what it looked like. I was just hypnotized by her. So I wrote this song about her, and she became a good friend of mine. Her name was Joan Lynch. And I just want to tell you one more thing. I raised some money for her. She had a women's shelter that she supported, and a battered women's shelter and stuff like that. So we became pals. And she came to Passim to see me just before she died. And she came from the hospital. She was so sick then. Like, so sick. Like, she was having treatments and, you know, in the last bit of it. And she told her doctor, against the judgment, you know, against her doctor's orders, she got out of that bed, took all the things out, and came to my concert. And she dressed beautifully. She had this beautiful multicolored scarf on, and that's what she did. She wanted to always look good for people, so people would say she's doing well. And she came, and I have a photograph of that. It means so much to me. So anyway, this is for her. Her name is Joan, and it's also for Carpe Diem, for seizing the day, for being around. You know, everybody talks about seizing the day, but when you're around somebody who's doing it, who's in the moment, you know it. You know, there's, you know, the irony. I'm pontificating now. I apologize, but the irony of like when you go to Facebook tonight, right, after the show, maybe you're doing it right now. As you're doing Facebook while I'm doing my concert, you notice that.
How'd you know?
You can find memes on people saying seize the day a million different ways, right? Like the irony of sitting in your office on a computer writing memes about seizing the day when you are doing the opposite of seizing the day. That is not lost on me, that irony, okay? I just want to say that. So this is for Joan Marie Lynch from South Boston, a holy person, a person who showed me what the moment looks like, you know? She told me she was stage 4. She walked onto the dance floor like it was the last dance of her life. I never saw a smile so bright, never got a hug so tight. I never saw a dance hall light illuminate a soul so bright. These eyes have seen a lot of things, but they never saw angel wings till they watched a woman dancing like it was the last dance of her life. Like it was the last dance, like it was the last dance, like it was the last dance of her life. I know the people of the old cliches, how everybody ought to seize the day. They post them on their social page every hour of every day. But you've gotta love the irony of sitting down at a computer screen, posting carpe diems day and night, while your life goes passing by. I never got a smile so bright, I never got a hug so tight, never saw a dance hall light illuminate a soul so bright. These eyes have seen a lot of things, but they never saw angel wings, till they watched a woman dancing like this was the last dance of her life. Like it was the last dance, like it was the last dance, like it was the last dance of her life. Maybe tomorrow I will try to write a song about this precious life, but tonight I'd rather live this life than describe it while it's passing by. She told me she was stage 4. She walked onto the dance floor, then her body started moving like this was the last dance of her life.
Wow, that's beautiful, Dawn.
Woo! All right, now I'm all emotional. You're killing me here. All right. All right. So here, I'm going to let's see. We'll play 2 more songs. Then we'll take a short break, 2 minutes, and then we'll just put the Venmo and the PayPal stuff up so that you can, if you're inclined to, that you can donate to help out the indie folk and try to help keep music alive in Indianapolis during these weird times. And some of the money will come to me too for the Dawn White Ramen Noodle Fund. Okay, so but let's see, 2 songs quickly, and then I'll come back and play till about 20 past or 25 past. Then we'll have the after party. Is that all right, everybody? How you doing?
Can I say something? Can you hear me?
Sure.
My father had all his toes folded over one another, and he used to take off his shoes, and he used to say, "And did you get shoes every time your shoes got too small?" So I completely.
We are all blessed to have dads like that, aren't we? All right. So I want to say hello to my friends on YouTube, and we decided, I think, I was asking which direction is YouTube, so I think it's that way. So hello everyone on YouTube. Hello everybody. And so here, let me do this song. This is because weed is legal in Massachusetts now, and I'm okay with that. It's legal in Michigan too. So you Indiana people, I know you're popping over the border there and doing whatever you're gonna do. I'm okay with that. I think it's good. I don't smoke it myself, but I think it's good. My wife has arthritis and stuff. She'll take the gummies and all that stuff. I think I'm glad nobody's going to jail for it. But I have 2 concerns. The first one is you can't go anywhere in my town now and not smell weed. You can get stoned jogging in my town. It's like it's coming out of churches and kindergartens and police cars. It's everywhere, right?
Oh God.
And then, so yeah, that's my one concern. all the joggers are going to be getting secondhand buzz on. And the other concern is I love conversation. And I'm looking through here, and I've talked to many of you in my life. And when you talk to me, I listen. Be careful what you say to me, because I remember it. I can't remember where I parked my car, but I can remember what you say to me. And so I love conversation. I believe now that if everyone's going to be stoned now, you can just, like it used to be in Massachusetts, that it was kind of halfway legal. Like you had to get your doctor to lie about your glaucoma in order to get it, right? But now you just walk in like it's a liquor store and get it, right? So I'm feeling that there's going to be a stoner zombie apocalypse in my world. And those of us that love focused conversation, we're going to have to go underground. That's right. We're going to have to go to speakeasies. Like we're going to call them speak coherently easies. That's my feeling about it. So here we go. And people say, aren't you afraid to make stoners upset with you? And I think that is the most hilarious thing anybody ever said to me. What would you do? You take your keys, right? If some stoner started yelling at you, you take your keys like this and jingle them like that, and they'd be like, oh, look, something shiny. I know this because I was one. All right. I sat around with a bunch of stoners. I listened to them talk all night long. They were sure that their conversation was deep with meaning. They were wrong. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. My friend Harry lit up a fatty to celebrate my brand new job. I watched his brain float out of my window. He left me talking to an empty blob. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. So I have to get into character for this part, so I'm going to droop my eyes a little. Well, I'm going to droop my eyes a lot. And I'm going to slow the guitar down to stoner speed. Wait a second. Yeah, it's still too fast. Wait, all right. What if our whole life was just a dream, man? What if we're dreaming this right now? I forgot what I was just saying. Let's order pizza. Wow. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. We're doing nothing at all. It cures glaucoma. It cures insomnia. Some people say it is a cancer cure, but it does not cure incoherent conversation. That's for sure.
There you go.
More lighters in it for you.
Yeah.
All right. So here, let me do this one tune, and then we'll take a 2-minute break, and I'll be back and play a little bit more. I want to thank everyone at Indy Folk, and I want to thank Brandon for being the technician of all technicians, for helping me out so I can just concentrate on playing. And he's working 3 chat rooms at the moment, or 2 chat rooms, and he's doing all the muting and all that stuff. So he's a good man. All right. So here, hang on a second. Do you like this? It's kind of Grateful Dead-y, isn't it? I can see Joan Baez like standing barefoot on that, doing a little folk show. Couldn't you? No. All right. There is a little girl with pretty curls, she's about 5 years old, and she is waiting at the gate for her dad to come home. When he pulls around the corner in his shiny white car, she feels the magic light up in her heart. And he picks her up and he holds her. He says he missed her, he's glad that she is here. As the child lays her head on his shoulder, she whispers these words in his ear. Daddy, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now she is 20 and there's plenty of love everywhere. She's getting married, so her family and her friends are all there. They've gathered this morning to stand at her side as she waves goodbye to this time in her life. And they each take a moment to hold her and to tell her what she means to them. In a world that seems to keep getting colder, she has been blessed with a warm family and friends. She says, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are older and no one told her it got crazy like this. They're going to night school, working jobs too. They're raising 3 kids. The youngest one is crying with a bruise on her knee. She needs attention and she needs sympathy. And when she picks her up and she holds her, that old magic lights up in her heart. And as the child lays her head on her shoulder, she knows exactly why they're working so hard. Little girl, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are 60 and their history spans 40 odd years. They have buried their parents, now their grandkids are here. There's something about the way they look in each other's eyes that speaks softly about the meaning of a life. And when he puts his arm out to hold her, it feels so familiar and warm. She thinks love is an expanding endeavor till your last breath from the moment you're born. Now she is 80 and she hates being in this nursing home. Her man's been gone now for a long while, and she feels so alone. She closes her eyes and she begins to pray that a little comfort might just come her way. And God lifts her up and he holds her, and she remembers this feeling she has. She is not a woman whose life is almost over. She's a little girl being held by her dad. And God, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. And God love is real simple. Love is real simple. Love is real simple and true.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome. Here you go.
Beautiful.
I must say that you are my favorite little squares in all this world. That's right. All right, so we're gonna take a 2-minute break so I can splash some water on my face, and you can, if you can afford to, um, donate to the Indy Folk Club and the Dawn White thing. And I just want to say this. I say this every week. If you don't have any money, you do not have to feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. I have been without money a good hunk of my life, and you are always welcome where I am. Even when this is over, if you want to come to my concerts and you're broke, you just call me and we'll get you in there. So, but if you are in a situation where you can help out, you do that. But the rest of you people, I love you. I love you. I love you. No pressure on any of you for any of this. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'll be back, and I'm gonna play till about 20 or 25 past, and then we'll see what the after party looks like. All right, I'll be back. Let's see. Do we lose any? I can count. You know, your numbers are documented. There you go. No, you're still here. Good. Glad to see you all. The mighty 39 over here. And all right, so here we go. This is a request. It's hard for me to play requests because I don't pay attention to the chat, but you know, because I'm busy. But Brandon will sneak the information over to me sometimes. So here we go. Somebody who has seen me years ago, 10 years ago, and is here. So thank you for coming.
20 actually.
20 years. Right.
20 and worse.
Oh my God.
In the 90s. Hi, Don.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming. And you know, if you come and see me every 20 years, you might have to cut that in half because I don't think I got another 20 in me. All right, I'm just saying. You might have to reduce that, you know, to every 10 years or so. But this is called "Sassy Brat." It's a song I wrote for my wife many years ago. We get along really good because we're both wise asses, but she is much better at it than I am. So it's been the secret of our relationship here. So here we go. If I can remember it, this is one you know. All right. What do you call them? We're going into the deep tracks. In the 18, 19, 31, 35, 42 years that we have been wed, I've wondered if you ever heard a word I said. Till I said, pass that remote control over here, and you told me to blow it out my ear. I love you, you're a sassy brat. You make me mad and you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half. Let me grow old with my sassy brat. When my fans call up, and say that I'm great, you tell them that that is a huge mistake. That if they had to live with me, they wouldn't understand what a big pain in the ass I am. I love you, you're a sassy brat. You make me mad, you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half. Let me grow old with my sassy brat. There are men that like women who they can dominate, that bring them breakfast in bed and always tell them that they're great. Well, my sassy lady never does that for me, but at least the life with her is definitely not boring. She says, if you want me to believe that you're great, do a couple loads of laundry around here someday. Hey pal, it's only because you're still kinda cute that I haven't already gotten rid of you. I love you, you sassy brat. You make me mad, you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half. Let me grow old with my sassy brat. You say the kids have both gone to the show. How about a little quickie before they come home? And I say, hey, I suppose you think you're really slick, the way that you keep emphasizing little and quick. Oh, this show is not for children. I'm not that sure I love you, you're a sassy brat. You hurt my big fat ego and you make me mad. God, please don't cut our time in half. Let me grow old with my sassy brat. Sassy bratty lady has been hanging around here, driving me crazy. 42 years. If I could ever afford to see a psychiatrist, I'd ask him, why do I like being treated like this? We were in bed, but we were still awake. You said, I really love you in this life we've made. I said, hey, can I quote you on what you just said? You told me if I did, you'd punch me in the head. I love you, you sassy brat. You make me mad, you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half. Let me grow old with my sassy brat. Hope it's not too much to ask. Let me grow old. With my sassy brat.
Woo! All right, Dawn. Nice.
All right, so let me throw this one out to Sarah. I was supposed to do it for her last night. This is another one for my wife. My wife grew up in Kerwin Circle, federal housing project here. One of the best things I ever did was marry someone who grew up in federal housing because, man, when times are tough, she's awesome. When times ain't tough, she's awesome. But, like, she doesn't, she just knows how to adapt in this world. And she knows how to keep me in line. And I have required a lot of keeping in line over the years. So this is called Project Girl. You know, people, my friends who come to these things all the time, they're making me dig back and find these songs because I appreciate them coming so much that I want to do whatever you want for them. But I had to go learn this thing. I hadn't played it in so long. So this is a folk doo-wop song that could happen. Okay. All the days of her youth were spent in housing. I'm sorry about my throat here. All the days of her youth were spent in housing subsidized by the government. By the time that her neighbors were 12 years old, they knew how to steal automobiles and play that rock and roll. Here we go. I'm expecting the. All right. Shoo up, shoo waddy waddy project girl. Shoo up, shoo waddy waddy you do waddy wah. Shoo up, shoo waddy waddy project girl. Shoo up, shoo waddy waddy you do waddy wah. I was raised on the other side with a white picket fences and a brand new bike when the sun was hot and the days were long. My dad turned on the sprinkler to save the lawn, but now I'm grown. I work all day. When I come home, I moan, I groan and complain. But my project girl puts me in my place, calls me a middle class spoiled brat right to my face. Shoo waddy waddy project girl, shoo waddy waddy do waddy wah. Shoo waddy waddy project girl, shoo waddy waddy do waddy wah. Now by the time that she married me, she was already adept at austerity, and she can keep us going on my piddly pay. She can cook a potato 119 ways. Shoo waddy waddy project girl. Shoo waddy waddy do waddy wah. Shoo waddy waddy project girl. Shoo waddy, I love my project girl. Project girl. I love my project girl. My young daughter hates what we eat. She's liable to pick it up and throw it at me. Well, the projects have never been her home, but her mother gave her project chromosome, so it don't matter where she may live, she will always be a second generation project kid. She waddy waddy project girl. She waddy waddy do waddy wah. She waddy waddy project girl. She waddy waddy do waddy wah. These classy women in their fancy clothes, they're very impressive, I suppose, but I wouldn't trade my project girl for every Maserati mama in this whole wide world. There you go. Good, huh? 3 chords right out of the Mel Bay songbook. There they were right there, boys and girls.
Right.
All right. So this has been a fantastic night. I want to thank the Indy Folk Series. They really did a good job getting the word out, and I wish you the best. Listen, anything that we can help you with, you guys fill in all that. If you want us to, me and Brandon, and I have another technician, Brian Dozer, I'm not sure if he's here, we'll come in and just, if you have a tech person, we'll help you learn. I want everybody to get on their feet here. This is the way the world's going to be for a while, and there's no reason why we can't all join together, especially this way where we can interact a little bit. You know, it's not the same, but it simulates it pretty good, and it feels okay. So I'm going to leave you with this song here, and then again we'll just throw the Venmo thing up there for a minute or so, and this is, if you know, this will be the end of the concert, my part of it, but if you want to hang around, the after parties are kind of pretty cool, you know.
Yes, they are.
Where the people in the know. That's right. So it's fun for me too, because I get, you know, one of the things I really miss about this is being with my friends, my musicians. We would hang around after the shows and sit around, you know, and just play music and talk to each other. So that's kind of what we're simulating here with this. We have some really cool folks who are going to pop into, but I'm okay if nobody comes to it. Honestly, it's really just for me. So I'm just saying that. Uh, you know, um, so here, this is called Angel in Pieces. It's a song about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves. And with Sarah and my friend Neil is here, and all my friends that I know out there, I know you're all doing this. This thing, COVID-19, and the political situation that the world is in, it's a lot of pressure on people. So if you had a friend who wasn't doing good before this, you should reach out to him. Give him a phone call. I call somebody every couple of days. I just call someone who's alone or I know was having mental health problems or whatever. And sometimes I'm pretty sure I'm the first person they've talked to in weeks. And so it's an easy thing to do, and it matters, And so if you are doing things like that, and I know you are, because I can feel your hearts from all the way wherever you are, all the way through this stupid screen here, I can tell that you're good. So, and that you're doing good things out there. So on behalf of humanity, for which I am the official spokesperson, I want to thank you for doing it. So this is Angel in Pieces. It's a song about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves, and never has that been more important than it is right now. Thank you for being so nice to me and allowing me to continue to do what I love in this strange, bizarre, weird world. All right. She walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said, I've surrendered, in her face I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said, I've given up. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like ghosts, and we see them as they are breaking, and as their spirit dies, but deep inside we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Now she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And those old dark eyes, they are so alive. They set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel. I say to myself, I feel Zuzu's petals. I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are. Thank you for another lovely.
Woo! Woo!
Beautiful.
Beautiful, Don.
You are wonderful.
All right. So listen, thank you. This means a lot to me. We're here every Thursday night until they stop coming. That's the deal. And I probably will still do it if it's just me and Brandon. I have to do it. It's like breathing. So let's take a 2-minute break, let's sort of pass the hat one more time, and then we'll see what awaits in the after party. But thank you for coming. I know it's already been a long time, an hour and a half in a 140 character world. This is a long time to be. But but if you're old school like me and you want to hang out and see what's happening, you're welcome to. But no matter what, thank you so much for participating and helping out Indy Folk, and thanks to all you guys. Indianapolis is a good place for me. I've only been going there the last few years, but man, I fell in love with that place. And Susie, love to see you, darling. Oh, there you are right there. And Ellen Munns and all the good folks there. It's a great town. I can't wait to get back there. So 2 minutes, we'll be back and we'll see what happens. How's that? All right.
Great. Great job, Brandon.
Thanks, Sarah.
Do a lot of you guys know each other from concerts?
Yeah, there's a lot of regular crowd for sure.
Is there a lot of Massachusetts here tonight?
Yep, Massachusetts, Michigan, a bunch of people in Indiana on YouTube.
I'm out in California, but I left Cambridge last August. We had to leave ice and snow because I had a concussion.
Oh.
It was too hard.
Yeah.
We miss it. Did anybody ever go to the Iron Horse in Northampton, Western Mass?
No, not me.
I have family in Indiana, so I was happy to hear about it.
Whereabouts in Indiana?
South of Evansville, near the border. It's called Oakland City.
Well, that's actually north of Evansville, because I was going to say south of
I've had a
Evansville, Ohio River.
concussion, so all bets are off.
But that's good. We'll say hi when we pass through.
Yeah, you're almost to Tennessee. It's right on the edge.
I know we got at least one person from Wisconsin.
Which person's talking? I'm trying to figure out how to see all the different.
That would be me right here.
You waving?
Yeah.
I can see some of the people. I think you have to. Oh, I have to make it bigger.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to see all the people at the same time. I
figured out-
tried. I gave up.
He told me that there's a gallery view up top.
All right, so here we are back, the mighty 33 down here, and a bunch of them over there on YouTube. You're welcome to come over with us, but we'll still keep streaming it over there as well. So, let me get my fan shut off here. Sorry.
Michael.
All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll start a little song story circle by bringing back the woman who started this thing off beautifully, I thought, at 7 o'clock. So let's make some noise, and if you can't make noise, you can applaud this way for Katie Dahl.
Thanks, team. Well, you may hear the dulcet tones of a 4-year-old bathing in the background as my office is next to his bath spot, but that'll just add to the ambiance of like the crazy pandemic life. Yeah, Phil mentioned, so I live, if you probably heard earlier, but I live in this place in Wisconsin called Door County. Has anyone ever been there?
No.
Yeah, oh great, a couple of you. So it's sort of, it's a little peninsula. If this is Wisconsin, sort of, it's the peninsula that sticks out into Lake Michigan.
Okay, it's a little one.
So, yeah. So the cool thing about it is that, like, north of this spot on the peninsula, this lower south spot, there are no chain restaurants north of this whole 50-mile long stretch. They're all locally owned. So that's so cool because you go into a place and you see the owner and you see the owner's kid like unwillingly bussing tables on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. or whatever. It all feels like this is how the world should be. So about 10 years ago, they tried to put a Subway restaurant in way up north of the tip of the thumb, and I thought this was a bummer. So I wrote this song up and sang it at a town board meeting and suggested that perhaps they ought not to do that. So I'll sing this one for you. It's called Hometown Tables. We got goats up on the rooftop. We got whitefish in the bay. We got spotted cows to fill our cup at the end of every day. A white gull roosts at the end of Main Street, just a block from summertime. Autumn days that flow like water, winter nights that glow like wine. We got singing by the fireside, we got dancing in the barns. Sometimes the northern lights go rolling like a sky-high ball of yarn. Some folks pray for rain on Monday, some just take it as it comes, straight from the mighty hand of God to the top of his thumb. Right. So I say keep the door wide open. I say welcome, come inside. I don't want to be unfriendly, I'm not trying to be unkind, but I say some things still are sacred. Please don't try to chain me in. I'll break my bread at hometown tables in the company of friends. My grandma rests up on the hillside. I'll be with her by and by, but for right now she's just dreaming, and I think she's wondering why we'd give up all this gold for just some flashing in the pan. Why we trade this milk and honey for supper from a can. I say keep the door wide open. I say welcome, come inside. I don't want to be unfriendly, I'm not trying to be unkind. I say some things still are sacred. Please don't try to chain me in. I'll break my bread at hometown tables in the company of friends. I know we are not the center. I know this is not the end. I know winds are always changing. I know strong trees have some bend. Well, there are wars across the ocean. There is terror in the sky. Folks are building up their fences. There are bigger fish to fry. But this is the home I've searched for. I will not be misled. Sometimes the place that matters most is where we choose to break our bread. So I say keep the door wide open. I say welcome, come inside. I don't want to be unfriendly, I'm not trying to be unkind. I say some things still are sacred. If you try to chain me in, I'll break my bread at hometown tables in the company of friends. Yeah, I'll break my bread at hometown tables in the company of friends.
Wonderful.
That was great, Katie. Thank you so much. You'll hang around, and when we come around, do another tune for us in a little while.
Sure. Thank you.
You brought such a great energy to this event tonight. I'm really grateful to you, and grateful to Phil and those guys for inviting you, and for it's just been great. I'm so happy. All right.
Me too. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed your set.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So now I want to introduce somebody to you that I think a lot of the people won't know, but this is a really extraordinary person that I've known through the storytelling world. In the storytelling world, there are, maybe 10 or 12 people who are just so extraordinarily good that it's awe-inspiring, and this is somebody that I feel that way about. She has a new show that's going to run online on Saturday. And she'll talk to you a little bit about it. But I want you to welcome somebody that I think the world of right now as a special guest, and her name is Reggie Carpenter.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. This is just so great to be with all of you. I don't know you, but it's so much better than Netflix, isn't it? Woo, so much better. I'm really, really happy to be with you. I'm happy to be anywhere because I've been stuck in my house since March, and I'm just happy to be alive, you know. The last few years have been really, really great for me. I mean, until COVID hit, I was just on a roll. My eldest son got married. My youngest son just got engaged. I bought the house of my dreams. I got a dog. And I left my 5th decade behind. And when I left my 5th decade behind, I thought, whoa, wait a minute. I'm mortal. What? This party might actually end someday, but let's not be in any rush. So I thought, I'm going to go to the doctor's. So I love my doctor. She is terrific. Oh, she's so funny. She just makes me feel right at ease. And we're laughing it up, and she's listening to my lungs. She's checking my heart. I got the blood pressure thing going. And then she tells me to lie down on the table. And everything is going great. We're talking about the kids, and then she starts to thump, 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 thump on my abdomen. And then she says, oh, 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 you have a mass in your abdomen. Oh, what? Yeah, you have a mass in your abdomen. Well, that upset me for 2 reasons. It's never good to have a mass in your abdomen. And secondly, I'm a Catholic, and the thought of actually having a mass in my abdomen was a little overwhelming. So she says, well, I think we should get a second opinion. I feel great. I really think you should get a second opinion. Well, if you think so. Okay. So she gives me the name and the number of another doctor, and I go out into the reception area to call the doctor. Now, when I get into the reception area, there's just a couple of other people in there. There's a young mother, and she has her child who's playing at her feet. And then there's another woman who's sitting on the other side of the reception area. She has very dry skin and brittle hair. She's extremely thin, and she's wearing a t-shirt that reads, "Living the Dream." I sit down next to her. I don't want to cause any attention to myself. So, I sit under the potted palm tree and I pull out my phone and I dial the number that my doctor has given me. And I say to the receptionist, hi, well, it's probably nothing, but my doctor says that I have a mass in my abdomen and she wants me to get a second opinion. And so I was wondering if I might be able to come over there sometime and have your doctor look at me. Well, as soon as I say mass in my abdomen, the young mother scoops her baby up and presses her to its chest. And then the other woman, the living the dream woman, she kind of gives me one of those sympathetic smiles that people give you when they know you only have a couple of minutes left to live. And she goes like that. And then the receptionist tells me to come right on over. Everything will be fine. The doctor will see me immediately. Oh, so I close the phone, and right before I can get up, Living the Dream woman sidles into the chair right next to me, and she starts to pat my leg, and she says, "Listen, darling, I wasn't eavesdropping on you, but I couldn't help but overhear what you said, that you have a mass in your abdomen. I just want you to know, dear, that there are a lot of alternative treatments out there, and I am talking a lot of alternative treatments. I mean, myself, I have been drinking a concoction of distilled water, red pepper, black pepper, agave, and mushroom extract for the last 19 14 days. I can feel it absolutely eating all of the negativity in my body. Well, okay, maybe not all the negativity. And well, I am going to be drinking that for another 11 days. Darling, I just want you to know that there is a big light at the end of the tunnel. I just hope in your case, it isn't a train. Oh, no. I thank her, and then I get up and leave. Well, I've got a lot of people that I love, and I have a lot of people that love me, and I'm really been fortunate. And so I figure, listen, I better get over to that second doctor's pronto. So I get over to the second doctor's, and it's still kind of early in the day, and I walk in and I announce myself. The receptionist looks at the other receptionist and says, "Oh, she's the one with the mass in her abdomen." Well, they lead me into another examination room, and I'm waiting. I'm not waiting very long when this young, handsome doctor bounds in. He says, "So you've got a mass in your abdomen, huh?" "Apparently so, doctor." Now, he reminds me of a young Dr. Kildare. Oh, when you think about it, Dr. Kildare isn't a very reassuring name for a doctor, is it? Now, I want you to just lie down on that table and we'll have a look-see. "Okay, doctor, but before I do that, I just want to, on my way over here, I was thinking that maybe I have some symptoms that I've been repressing. I mean, sometimes my toes curl up, and other times, I don't know, I get this kind of numb feeling in my fingers, and sometimes my teeth itch. Do you think that those symptoms could be related to the mass in my abdomen?" And he looks at me and he says, "Possibly." Oh, I see the way he's playing it. He's playing it cool and calm. He doesn't want to worry me. So I lie down on the table and he too starts to thump, 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 thump. Oh. 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 You have definitely got a mass in your abdomen. I think you need to get over to the emergency room right away. Oh, that's ridiculous. I feel fine. There is, really, that's just doctor. When I woke up this morning, I felt great. Listen, you better get over to that emergency room if you really value your life. Well, okay. If you think so. So I go out and I put the $5,000 copay on my credit card because obviously I am not going to live long enough to pay that bill. So I get out and it's just about noon and I'm thinking, I should have one last happy meal before I go. Before they remove all my intestines, I might as well live it up a little bit. And as I'm driving over to the emergency room, I start to think about the hard questions, the really hard questions like, should I tell my children? If I don't tell them, they'll be upset. But on the other hand, if I do tell them, they'll be upset. On the other hand, I could not tell them and just catch a plane to China and let them think about how happy I was dying in a posh hotel in a communist regime. No, I have got to tell them. So I dial them up and neither of them answers. Oh, they're going to regret that for the rest of their lives. And so I leave them an upbeat, cheery message. Yeah, I say, "Oh, hi, sweetie, it's your mom. I just wanted to tell you how much I love you and that you really are my dream come true." They're never going to erase that message. They are probably going to play that for their children someday and saying, "This was what your grandmother sounded like." Well, I decide that it's time for me to get into the emergency room. So I park and then I memorize where I parked, next to the red van. I get into the emergency room and because of the way my insurance rolls, I have to go in right away. So I change into the back flap gown and there I am. And then they give me this, vitamin enriched, barium enhanced, aspartame, raspberry, strawberry flavored drink. Well, I drink this thing and then I wait. I wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And then finally they take me through this to the machine, and it burps and beeps and whizzes and buzzes. And then they take me back to my room, and I just wait. I mean, I am waiting. Well, I decided that this is probably the best time for me to write my will. So I divide everything evenly between my two children, and I write them each a personal note saying, I hope you have a really nice day at the Penny Arcade with all the money I'm leaving you. And then my doctor finally shows up, and she's got my diagnosis on a sheet of paper in her hand. And I look at her and I think, doctor, go ahead. I want you to tell me. Just tell me. Just tell me. I'm a very strong person. Just tell me what it is. Are you going to be doing the operation today? I ask her. And she says, no, Miss Carpenter. No, we won't be doing it today. Oh my gosh, I think I'm too far gone. I can't even have the operation. And then I say, well, what is it then? And she says, Miss Carpenter, it appears that you have a large stool burden. A what? A large stool burden. You mean I'm not gonna die? Well, not from this. And she handed me a purgative. Well, I gotta tell you, the next day, oh my gosh, my whole spirit felt so much lighter. I mean, there's nothing like a brush with death to make you appreciate life, huh? Well, from that day onward, I have been able to give thanks for everything that has been and everything that shall be. And when you think about it, I guess I really did have a mass in my abdomen.
That's great. Beautiful, Reggie.
Thank you. I hope you can come to my show. It's on Sunday afternoon at 2:00, and there'll be something in the chat that will tell you where to go to get a ticket. It's really going to be fun. Don, you have inspired me with these concerts, and I thought, hey, if Don can do it, he's spreading the love. I'm going to
Don do it. How hard could it be? That's what you thought.
How hard can it be? Actually, it's harder than it seems.
All right, let's have a thank you for Reggie Carpenter.
Thank you, Reggie. That's awesome.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right, and so now continuing the Secret Squirrel part of our show, cleverly disguised under the name CL.